Shohei Ohtani was never built like a normal athlete. Born in Oshu, Japan, he grew up obsessed with one goal: becoming the greatest baseball player alive. By high school, he was already throwing 100 miles per hour. By his early 20s, he was redefining what a two-way player could be. And by 2023, he became the most valuable player the sport had ever seen. So when December 2023 arrived and Ohtani signed a $700 million contract, the biggest deal in sports history, the world expected him to start living like a king. Instead, he showed up to his press conference in a 2015 minivan. But once you look at how Ohtani actually spends his money, a pattern appears. He buys a $7.8 million home, even buys a $3,000 dog. So what is Ohtani really doing with his fortune? Let's get into how the $700 million MVP really spends his fortune. The house that humility built. Ohtani's home might be the biggest shock of all. When he signed with the Dodgers, agents expected him to shop like every other superstar. Bel Air mega mansions, Malibu compounds, Beverly Hills estates with 12-car garages and infinity pools. Instead, he bought a house in La Cañada Flint Ridge for $7.85 million, a price tag more common for solid MLB starters than for the richest player in baseball history. The place is comfortable but far from extravagant. About 5,600 square feet, 5 bedrooms, quiet mountain views. Inside, it is even simpler. Minimal furniture, no expensive art, no screening room or trophy hall. The most valuable part of the interior is the home gym, because training equipment matters more to him than decor. But the detail that reveals everything is outside. The backyard is large, not for entertaining, but for his dog. Decoy has more dedicated space than Ohtani himself uses. He bought a multi-million-dollar home based on whether his dog would enjoy it. For Ohtani, the house is not a status symbol. It is a place to sleep, train, and make sure Decoy has room to run. That is not financial minimalism. That is who he is. The dog that became famous. Before we talk about Ohtani's spending, we have to talk about the one purchase he treats like royalty: his dog Decoy. A Dutch Kooikerhondje is worth only a few $1,000s, yet it is now one of the most famous animals in sports. Decoy has 500,000 followers, throws first pitches at Dodger games, and has his own merch line. Ohtani likely spends around $10,000 a year on him through training, premium food, toys, and vet care. And he does it happily, because joy matters to him. A dog improves his life. A Lamborghini does not. This is the pattern. Ohtani buys what helps him, not what shows off his wealth. The training investment. Where Ohtani does spend real money is the one area he never compromises: performance. He employs a full-time personal team, including a strength coach, nutritionist, biomechanics expert, physical therapist, and mental coach. Together, they cost more than $500,000 a year. His private chef adds another $200,000, traveling with him to prepare every meal according to precise nutritional targets. His home gym operates like a sports science lab. It contains a Proteus resistance system, a hyperbaric chamber, a cold plunge setup, and custom pitching and hitting technology worth well into the six figures. He also uses advanced data systems such as Rapsodo and Hawkeye, along with off-season training trips and medical work in Japan. Altogether, he spends close to $1 million each year on maintaining elite performance. Cars and designer luxuries do not matter to him. His dog and his craft do. That is the Ohtani formula. The fashion non-statement. Ohtani's wardrobe is the clearest example of how little he cares about looking rich. In a sports world where players arrive in outfits worth more than cars, Ohtani shows up in New Balance sneakers from his endorsement deal, dark jeans, and a plain t-shirt or hoodie. Sometimes he switches to a simple button-up. That is the entire rotation. No chains, no luxury watches, no designer logos. His entire personal wardrobe, excluding free items from sponsors, is probably worth less than what some rookies pay for a single jacket. But this has nothing to do with frugality. He simply refuses to spend energy on anything that doesn't help him pitch better or hit harder. He removes every unnecessary decision from his life, so the important ones get all of his focus. The endorsement empire. While Ohtani lives like a minimalist, his business empire is the exact opposite. He earns around $40 to $50 million a year from endorsements alone. Companies like New Balance, Porsche, Fanatics, Topps, Salesforce, Oakley, Seiko, and Hugo Boss pay him for one reason: association with excellence. He barely promotes any of them. No constant social media ads, no flashy brand events. He appears for the required commercial or photo shoot and then goes straight back to training. The companies still line up because his name carries global credibility. Most of that endorsement income doesn't go toward luxuries. It goes into investments, mainly real estate in Japan and conservative financial assets. No risky ventures, no celebrity business launches, no lifestyle spending spree. Ohtani earns like a superstar and invests like a retired accountant, building generational wealth one quiet decision at a time. If you want, I can now shorten it, punch it up, or adopt a more dramatic storytelling tone. The charity calculation. This is where Ohtani's spending finally becomes emotional rather than practical. He won't buy himself a luxury car, but he becomes incredibly generous the moment someone else needs help. After the 2023 earthquakes in Turkey and Syria, he quietly donated $100,000. When Maui burned, he did it again. He supports youth baseball programs in Japan, and after winning the World Baseball Classic, he gave away his entire $564,000 prize to fund youth baseball development. He has also paid for equipment for underfunded schools in Japan and the United States, with total contributions believed to be in the hundreds of thousands. The pattern is obvious. He refuses to spend on himself unless it improves his performance, but he will cut six-figure checks for others without hesitation. And it is never for attention. Most donations are discovered long after the fact because he never announces them. He gives because he believes it is the right thing to do. The interpreter scandal fallout. No breakdown of Ohtani's financial life is complete without addressing the Ippei Mizuhara scandal. In 2024, news broke that Ohtani's longtime interpreter and close friend had allegedly transferred nearly $4.5 million from Ohtani's account to cover illegal gambling debts. The number shocked the sports world, but the real surprise was what it revealed about Ohtani himself. He trusted Mizuhara so completely that he never noticed the missing money. It showed how completely he disconnects from his finances and how intensely he focuses on baseball above everything else. The fallout forced him to restructure his entire financial system. A professional management team now oversees his accounts, with multiple layers of approval required for any significant transaction. But the scandal also made one thing clear. For $4.5 million to disappear unnoticed, Ohtani must have tens of millions in liquid assets he simply never looks at. The Japan connection. There is one part of Ohtani's spending that almost nobody notices. How much of it quietly flows back to Japan? He owns property in his hometown of Oshu in Iwate Prefecture. But it is not a mansion. It is a modest home where his parents still live. The surrounding land he purchased is not for luxury but for privacy, turning the area into a buffer so his family can live without attention. Most of the land remains simple working farms. He has invested in Japanese baseball academies, helped build training facilities, and funded scholarships for young players. He maintains business relationships with Japanese companies that will become part of his life after baseball. Everything points to a long-term plan. When he retires, he will return to Japan with a network of investments, community projects, and baseball development roles already waiting for him. While others spend like stars, he is preparing for 20 years into the future. The real luxury. So what is the one thing Ohtani truly spends on that could be considered a luxury? Time. The minivan, the modest house, the quiet wardrobe, and the automated decisions are all engineered to remove distractions. He does not want to compare cars, choose furniture, or think about fashion. He does not want to manage an oversized real estate empire. Every unnecessary decision he eliminates gives him more mental space for the only thing he cares about: baseball. His money goes into trainers, chefs, analysts, recovery systems, and anything that improves his performance. Everything else is stripped away. For Ohtani, the real luxury isn't material. It is the ability to focus with absolute clarity. He is willing to spend millions to protect that focus while refusing to spend thousands on anything that would pull him away from it. $700 million didn't change Shohei Ohtani's lifestyle because it didn't have to. He spends on nothing that distracts him and everything that makes him better. That focus is why he's rewriting baseball history in real time. Now, if you want more stories behind the lives of the world's most extraordinary athletes, click on the next video.